come to your garden, I eat from your tree, I step in your river, and it takes me deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams, but somehow out of reach, eluding me until I release. You come close to me when I release, and I let you take the lead when I release. My heart starts to see when I release. When I release, you said, come to my garden, eat from my tree, step in my river, let it take you deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. You walk out, you're able to carry my peace. It's an ancient sound heard from the ones who came before. Now it's here once more to pierce your soul. A simple melody playing over and over in your streets, like a whirlwind turning things, tearing up the dark. That's where I release, and my heart starts to sing when I release. I let you take the lead when I release. You come close to me when I release. When I release, it's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? We are live. Welcome to the live stream here on Young Lion TV. We appreciate each and every one of you for logging in. We're here. It's Tuesday night. We got some stuff to talk about. You know, this is what we do live every Tuesday. So shout out to you who are watching on Instagram, if you're on Rumble, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, all them spots. We love you guys. Hit that like button, share this video because we are live. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Young Lion TV every Tuesday night. You are live with us in the Lion's Den. Once again, shout out to all of those watching on, if you're on any of the platforms, make sure you share this video and like and subscribe and all that good stuff, because the algorithm does not favor the things that we talk about. If you follow any of our content, if you've seen our clips, you know that we talk about some wild stuff, and they shadow ban us everywhere. So we need you guys to share and support what we do. That's the only way we get helped out by the algorithm. But with me this evening, I got my big brother in the building. He is my big brother, and he's everybody's big brother. He is the preacher, the teacher, the people reacher, Mr. Jacob Eugene Evans III in the building.
Just one.
Huh?
I said just one.
Just one tonight. Just
Only
one
one.
tonight. Shout out to Moon and Stan and James, all the young lions that are usually here. Everybody is busy doing stuff tonight, so we will hold it down. We'll hold the live stream down.
Yeah.
No problem. And of course, we got producing this evening.
Oh, no. Before you introduce me, introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I am. I forgot. I always forget. I am the host of the show, and I am every light skinned guy with a beard that you know. I am your cousin. I am a celebrity. I got called Conor McGregor when I was at the gas station.
Wow.
It was funny. I was in the car, and the guy was like, "Man, I thought it was Conor McGregor." The guy working at the gas station was like, "I thought Conor McGregor was pulling up here." I'm like, he's like, "You ever been told that before?" I'm like, "Yes." But yeah, so I get called anybody who's got a beard, who's white or light skinned in your family, who's got red hair and a beard. That's me. I am Jamie Evans. And last but not least, of course, we got the producer, the best producer in the world. She is our mother, and we love her. She is Miss Angeli Lopez.
Hey.
And yes, she doesn't have the same last name as us. But yeah, shout out to all you guys. I see we got people in the chat. Oh, James is watching. Shout out to James, man. Miss you being here right now. I know you're working right now, holding it down, Mr. Bill Wright over there. And we got Theris in the chat. I see Jeff, all of our Patreon members. He said with you guys tonight. Shout out to Jeff. Listen, speaking of that, if you want to support what we do, you know, the Young Lion podcast is a group of men and women that we come together and we talk about real topics because we've seen a lot of things in our journey in life, and we've learned a lot, and we made a lot of mistakes along the way. So reason why we talk about these things is because we noticed that a lot of men, they tend to avoid real topics when they get together and talk, and we like to showcase men that will talk about these things, talk about life, talk about culture, politics, talk about all of the spells that we were under as young men that we've broken off of ourselves, and a lot more that we're still learning to break, and we want to help other people be able
Broken
to break
off
those
of
spells.
ourselves we've been broken out of by the grace of God.
Yeah, well, you know, same thing. But yeah, and also for those that want to support that and want to see that message get spread around and see those type of conversations being had, and not just the typical, you know, dating podcast where they destroy, you know, OnlyFans models or the typical political debates that you see on these certain podcasts. If you want to see a different type of conversation, spread the love, share this with people. Someone just sent a star. Shout out to Theris for supporting the cause. And yeah, that's the best way you can support us. Go to patreon.com/youngliontv, become a member. And for as little as $3 a month, you can become a Young Lion and support what we do. We also have the merch store where you can get our hats and our T-shirts and all of that stuff. And that's just a way to show your support in public for the Young Lion Pride. We really don't make money off of the merch because we try to keep the prices low for everybody. Also, we do have a Cash App if you want to just throw some donations at the cause. It's $YoungLionTV. You can hit us over there. And yeah, other than that, the best thing you can do is share this video. Like I said, hit the like button, share this video. Helps us with the algorithm and helps spread the word about our message. But yeah, shout out to George. He said, they do more than shadow ban. They straight blocked my comments last week. It's all good, FB. I'll be over on YouTube. Shout out to George, man. Thank you for your support. He's been watching for a long time. Yeah, man. A lot of people have been telling us that they're blocking comments. They don't. Wow. It's hard. I couldn't find the live stream when I was trying to share it today after we went live.
I never can.
Yeah.
From my page, I never can.
Yeah. So you know, it's funny because you know they can promote other things. If you're on your Facebook timeline, you can see all kind of foolishness all day long. But when it comes to like the stuff that we try to put out there, they never want to share it. Hey, and if you're watching on Instagram, man, you know, we just started streaming live on Instagram because the software is allowing us to do that now. So, you know, drop a comment in, say what's up. We're going to communicate with everybody who's on all the platforms. So, you know, and you can chime in on the conversations, things that we talk about. If you have some information or if you want to ask a question, anything like that, just jump right in, drop a comment in, and we'll say what's up. Shout out, I know Stan is watching on Rumble, so shout out to Stan over there on Rumble. But yeah, without further ado,
Can I say happy birthday to my sister Millie?
go ahead, Mom. Say
Happy birthday, Millie. Love you.
happy birthday to our Aunt Millie.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
71.
71 years old.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
God.
And Jamie.
Birthday
I guess
coming
we
up.
gotta say
Oh,
happy
yeah.
birthday to you because
Yeah,
we
but-
won't.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, Jamie.
Yeah.
My birthday is on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
My birthday is on Saturday. So you know, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate. All right, so let's get into some of this stuff. What do I want to talk about first? So the first thing I want to get into is did you see Trump selling gold shoes?
I did not.
You didn't see this?
I did not.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
John said he saw him
He saw him?
in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was there. John said, I saw Trump. I said, you sure it was Trump? I said, yeah. He was selling shoes.
Yeah, yeah. He was at SneakerCon.
Really?
He was at SneakerCon. Here, Mom, pull this up, please.
Okay.
This is from Associated Press right here, this article. It says, Trump hawks 399 branded shoes at SneakerCon a day after a $355 million ruling against him. And you know about that ruling?
No.
Where are we getting this buzz from, man? Are you hearing that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mom's mic.
It is?
Yeah. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mom.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's killing me. Yeah, so apparently he was selling some sneakers. I don't know if they have pictures of it, but it said as he closes on Republican presidential nomination, former President Donald Trump made a highly unusual stop Saturday, hawking new Trump-branded sneakers at SneakerCon, gathering that bills itself as the greatest sneaker show on earth. Trump was met with loud boos as well as cheers at the Philadelphia Convention Center as he introduced what he called the first official Trump footwear. So John was there at SneakerCon trying to get sneakers.
No, he said he was there, but he saw Trump.
But what was he there for?
I didn't ask him.
Had to be there to get sneakers. So the shoes were shiny gold high tops with an American flag detail on the back, are being sold as Never Surrender high tops for $399 on a new website that also sells other Trump branded shoes as Victory 47 cologne and perfume for $99 bottle. He'd be the 47th president if elected again. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So let's see if we could pull up a picture of these Trump shoes, because that is pretty hilarious. Let me see.
You mean to hit that?
Hit what? No, I didn't hit that. Mom hit that.
I hit that?
Yeah. Mom. Here we go. So here we go.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, apparently people were buying these. Never Surrender high top sell for $399.
A big T on the side
Yeah, big T on the side. Yo, this is right on brand.
with the flag at the top.
Yeah, but apparently, people were talking about how he's trying to raise money because of that lawsuit
Right.
where they ordered him to pay $355 million for fraud. Did you guys hear any details about this case?
No.
So it was basically
I heard about the truckers
the truckers. Yes.
that they're boycotting New York because of all this crap that's going on with them.
Yeah, because of this.
Yeah.
Because of this. Because
I didn't know how much it was though.
yeah, I mean, it's obviously just a way to try to sting his funds so he can't campaign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and try to get rid of him.
But how are they even getting him for stuff that's like they're not even proving it?
Yeah, this wasn't even an adjudicated case. Like there was no trial. Like the judge just said he was guilty, and we're just gonna question how much he has to pay, basically.
So kind of like the other thing with the woman who was accusing him of
Yeah, it was
rape
a lot
or-
like that, where there was no actual trial. It was just like you're already guilty, and you're just gonna remain guilty, and
Just want to take his money so he can't run.
yeah.
So we're dealing with a lot of corrupt judges.
So what it is they said that he fraudulently evaluated his property You know what I mean? And that's why he's being charged with fraud or hasn't paid this money. But Elon Musk had a great tweet about it. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? I can't find it. But he tweeted something that was so poignant. It was like, who's going to get the payout for this money if there's no victim? Like, even the bank testified and said, like, we made money off this loan. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So there's no victim. And then the dude, what's his name? Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He was talking on CNN about how ridiculous this is. Let me play this clip so you can kind of get a gist of just how stupid this is.
Wouldn't there be many companies who would not want to do business or loan money to people like yourself or investors if they know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me, what fraud? This is not about Trump anymore. When
I
you
know.
get a developer that builds a building and he says it's worth $400 million and he wants to borrow $200 million from a bank, which happens every day, everywhere on earth, including every American city, every developer is an entrepreneur. They shine the light on their building and they say it's worth 400. The bank does its own due diligence, as was done in this case, because they're very good at it. The banks are very good, and they say, no, it's worth 300. We're only going to loan you 150 million. That haggling has gone on for decades. That's how it works. And then in this case, even the bank that was supposedly defrauded testified and said, we didn't lose anything. We want to do business with this guy again. We'd like to. But the judge said, no, 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 no. Let's penalize this developer for $355 million. And if we're going to do that, let's penalize all the developers all across America. They've all done the same thing. All of them should go to jail, and we should stop building buildings. That's what the message is from New York. Even the governor herself is concerned about what this looks like to investors all around the world. It's not just U.S. domestic. All around the world, people are talking about what happened here. You really think people want to invest money in New York after this? How about we go somewhere else?
I think there are people who would. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to converse with you instead.
You just did.
It's only because I want to have a conversation,
you know what?
Kevin,
I respect
as opposed
you,
to just
I
having
respect
you tell
because
me.
you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I got to tell you, I'm respectable for a number of reasons, Kevin O'Leary, but being a lawyer is one of those issues. But I'll tell you, when I hear your conversation, and I do want to converse with you about this point.
So annoying.
I understand that there are legitimate concerns that were raised during the trial and will continue to be raised about who the quote unquote, who is actually bringing the suit. It wasn't the banks who were saying that we as consumers or unsophisticated feel this way. But Letitia James, the Attorney General, and I know you want to expand beyond Trump, has suggested...
So again, the Attorney General, Letitia James, is bringing this suit against Trump, not the banks. They're not saying they were defrauded. The state of New York. Yep. So what that means and what he's arguing for is like, okay, so now developers aren't going to want to develop here. Yeah. Because this is the way everyone operates. Yeah. Of course, if you have a property and you want to get a loan against that property, you're going to assess it at a high value. They come in to do their due diligence and then assess it their own way, and then they give you the amount they think is fair.
This is not even, like, how are we even explaining this?
Yeah. This is
basics.
Basic.
It blows my mind. But on the other side, I will say that it's just they're showing their own hand. Mm-hmm. They're showing how badly they're trying to come against Trump. And it makes no sense now. Yeah. It's like nothing is making any sense.
Yeah.
And if anybody's paying attention just a little bit, because I know there's a lot of people that are, loyal CNN watchers.
Yeah.
And what do you say when you watch that? It's kind of obvious. Like, come on.
And I mean, even Kevin O'Neally is not, he's not a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's just talking about businessmen. He's like, this is bad for all business. Yeah. Like, and it's bad for New York. Because the message that they're sending is that, like, okay, if I'm a developer and I have a bunch of money, I'm not building in New York. I'm not buying property in New York. Why would I do that? I have a chance that the state is going to come against me for fraud?
Based off of what?
Nothing.
Like, what is... There's not even anything...
It's if you become persona non grata.
But that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying it, because based off of what? How do you, like, if you had like a standard, there's no standard.
Yeah.
It's, we feel like you're defrauding. We're going to charge you what?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Crazy, but don't be pulled into the craziness and get, upset and angry to the point where we lose our heads. I think that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
But then on the other side is pay attention to what's going on, guys. This stuff just isn't happening for any reason. It's not happening because they're just really great people and just people in New York City.
Yeah. And they want to bring justice.
Yeah.
So what you were talking about, this is one of the truckers talking on the news about what happened and what they're doing. Let's play this clip, Mom.
It could shut New York City down. And, I don't want to hurt the people of New York. That's not what I'm trying to do. But my part in it, if New York just loses 10%, just 10% of the trucks that go in there, their prices are going to skyrocket on everything from milk to eggs to any type of goods that the consumer needs. And when that happens, it's going to cost everybody more money.
Yeah, but not every truck driver is getting behind Chicago Ray's efforts. Many drivers responded saying that they would not support the former president because he was accused and now he's been found liable for causing fraud. They say also the New York City market is just too big to ignore.
He wasn't found liable. He was they just said he was liable. There was no adjudication.
There were no findings.
Yeah. And then CNN was kind of going off the rails about Trump making a bunch of money. This was funny.
Category, is there any good financial news for Trump?
Yeah, so very interesting. And Audie, in fact, was the one who pointed this out to me. Trump's Truth Social share worth. So back in 2022, it was about 700 million. Last year, it was less than 100 million. But there's this idea, essentially, that Truth Social will, in fact, be able to go public. And how much would Trump's shares be worth if it does, in fact, go public? It could be upwards of $4 billion. That's billion with a B, not million with an M. Now, of course, keep in mind that Trump can't sell these stocks for another 6 months. But the fact is, we've had all this bad news for Trump. This could be good financial news for Donald Trump.
Harry, and great to see you. This category.
They're like, he might be making a bunch of money off Truth Social.
I have a question, though.
Yes.
Maybe you or Jake knows more about it. What is this stuff about 15-minute cities?
15-minute cities are these designs that they're building where you won't need a car, and everything that you'll need is within 15 minutes of walking or riding a bike. So it's like these completely like self-sustaining cities that there's no vehicles. Actually, I saw someone do a story on one. There's one that's already been implemented, and I think I forget where it is. Let me see if I can find it.
Why are they doing that? It has to be.
I mean, they say they're doing it to reduce emissions.
I mean, it's an easy way to control people.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, think about it. If you don't own a vehicle, you can't go anywhere. You can't travel. You can't move. You can easily be. So it's in Tempe, Arizona. Here we go, right here. Pull this up, Mom.
This brand new rental community in Tempe has all the amenities: fitness center, dog park, outdoor kitchens, but something's missing. So there are no cars in this community at all.
Isn't it great?
Cul-de-sac is the first community in the U.S. designed and built specifically for car-free living. Co-founder Ryan Johnson says the demand is strong.
Every generation, and including 92% of Gen Z, would like to pay more to live in a walkable neighborhood.
Retail, restaurants, and to start, nearly 200 apartments, all within steps of each other. No cars means no parking spaces, no garages.
Because we don't
No land.
don't have residential parking, it opens us up to have 55% landscape space, and we get to add so much to the neighborhood.
Like social spaces around every corner. The complex is strategically located right next to the area's light rail system. All residents get a free pass. The first 200 also get a free electric e-bike, and a partnership with Lyft gets them discount rides.
I've been fine just going via rail or just biking.
Juan Ramos, among the first 100 to move in here, grew up in Arizona, but left because he didn't like the car-dependent sprawl. At 27, he just came back and says living car-free has opened his eyes.
I mean, you get it. So doesn't this give you you'll own nothing and be happy vibes? This is Klaus Schwab's wet dream right here. You know, to put everybody somewhere where they're all just going to be renting apartments. No one has, like, think about it. You ain't going to see many kids running around here.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is you give up everything for convenience, but then the problem is you're now at the mercy of who you're giving that up to.
Yeah.
And you don't know. I was thinking about this today.
Mm-hmm.
With nuggets, right? Like
chicken nuggets?
Chicken nuggets.
Okay. You're going to offend some people. All those chicken nugget lovers out there.
What I'm saying is that a lot of times, like, you don't really know what's in this stuff, right? And yeah, most of the stuff they gotta only legally they have to put on the ingredients label. But there's certain things they don't have to put legally on the ingredients label. So what happens if they start doing the genetically modified meat, right? They start doing the meat that
or the
clone
meat,
the
lab grown
lab,
meat. Yeah.
And then legally they don't have to announce that that's what it is.
Yeah, they don't.
And the more I'm just thinking about it in this way, like the more we just like settle for things and just for the convenience of, well, let me go just get some nuggets out the fridge. And then things just start to change under our nose and we don't know. You're not even eating chicken anymore.
Right.
You know, we already found out with McDonald's, you know.
Downer cows.
You're eating the whole, all
chemically made fries.
Right.
The chicken nuggets are.
The old chickens are the chicken nuggets that they grind up, the whole thing. Yeah, so you find out these things and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I hate these things, you know. But then we do it for the sake of convenience, but then we give up our responsibility to others.
Yeah.
And this is what we get in return. We're going to get people who aren't corrupt and are going to take advantage of us, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. And it's like, how many people trust their own family? But yet because we just have it in our mind, we think it's okay to trust the government, to just leave it in their hands. This is what I'm trying to say is that, like, those people, like, because they said Generation Z, they want to be carless, they want to have everything in, like, so what he's really saying is that we've programmed it to the point where now Generation Z is at the point where we can just give them anything because they're programmed so much that for the sake of convenience, they're going to receive it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's become. And that's the problem. We don't realize when we want convenience and that becomes our desire more than anything, we give up responsibility. We give up an understanding of how things work.
Yeah.
We become dependent on somebody else, you know?
I'm thinking about like those 15-minute cities. So now, what about when crime is introduced? How quickly can police officers get to you? How quickly can they protect you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking about New York, like trying to implement this in New York with all the way crime is there.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about this video that went viral, a super cringy video. Can you pull this up, Mom? It was the NYPD dance team on TV. And everybody was feel safer in New York because of this. This is giving me the nurses and doctors during COVID doing dances.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering, like 90% of them overweight.
Yeah.
I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy.
Yes.
But when I think about those 15-minute cities, I'm not lying to you. I don't know why I'm thinking about concentration camps. like even though it's not that, but it's like getting to that.
Well, think about it. It's a self-induced concentration. You're going to concentrate. Your cities are already a concentration in a sense. Like everyone is on top of each other, concentrated into one area. And these are even more because there's no vehicles. It's going to be even more so of that. But yeah, with the migrant situation going on in New York, I mean, things are out of control in these cities. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but it got leaked that Mayor Adams was going to give out. He was giving a bank $50 million and to fund like these debit cards for migrants where they get up to $10,000 a piece.
Wow.
Yeah. Pull up the story, please, Mom. This is from the New York Post. It says, inside Mayor Adams' migrant debit card boondoggle. Boondoggle? No bid bank gets 50 million, border crossers up to 10,000 each. And the story is when the Post exposed Mayor Adams' debit card program earlier this month, the mayor's office spun it as a money-saving program to solve a problem. Migrants staying in hotels don't eat all their food. The city's no-bid emergency contractor to provide migrants with 3 meals a day throws away up to $5,000 meals daily, wasting $7.2 million a year. Some food is inedible, expired, or rotten. Other food doesn't meet migrants' dietary needs. Providing mass-scale meals competently and the options for specific needs: halal, kosher, vegan, non-gluten. Well, we just catering to all of their needs.
Crazy.
So he's offering to give them debit cards with up to $10,000 for them to be able to take care of their needs. And this is all taxpayer funded, by the way. So, yeah. The debit card program, if you read the actual contract, has the potential to become an open-ended, multi-billion-dollar Bermuda Triangle of disappearing, untraceable cash used for any purpose. It will give migrants up to $10,000 each in taxpayer money with no ID check, no restrictions, and no fraud control. Why give debit cards out? When the Post exposed the mayor's debit card program earlier this month, we just read that. Yeah, so this thing is just continuing to spiral.
What are they going to do about the homeless?
Nothing.
So they're going to give them everything. The homeless are still homeless.
Yeah, they're still going to be homeless. Somebody's got to get paid $500,000 a year to handle that problem. And then I saw this video someone posted. This was pretty creepy of like some lady in the hallway in the apartment building. Pull this up, Mom, please.
Yo, you good, shawty?
I am. I told you I'm from Africa, Ethiopia. You know me, uptown. No?
Yeah. What you doing up here?
Don't look like she holding a knife.
What the heck?
Because I think I was looking for you.
What you looking for me for?
I like you.
What the heck?
You got the wrong door, man.
No,
Yeah.
I got the right person. Maybe it's the wrong address, please.
Yeah, it's the
I'm
wrong
female.
address.
I'm not female. There's a difference between female and woman. Female is just for your pussy, for your dick and money. I'm from Africa. I cook clean.
What the
Good
heck?
laugh. Got juicy tight, spicy. But in America, the woman work. They control the man because they work. In Africa, woman doesn't work. Their job is taking care of the man. If a man
Yo, that is creepy. Imagine you open your door and you see it look like she's holding a knife. And then she coming in. I'm looking for you.
That's I'm getting chills just looking at it.
Right? When I saw that, dude, my hair stood up. I'm like, yo, this lady. And then you don't even see her whole body, which makes it even creepier. You don't see her whole look.
Yeah, you only see the side.
And you see that crazy hair, and you like, man, it just gives like, witch vibes or demonic vibes. Like even the way she's talking, like she's trying to entice him to let her in.
Yeah.
Crazy. Man.
And where is that?
That had to be Chicago because his accent. You know what I mean? he sounded more. Let's play it from the beginning. I think he sounded more country.
Yo, you good, shawty?
I am.
You're right. Could have been New York though. You good, shawty? Could have been New York. I don't know. People are from all over nowadays. But yeah, man. Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, the migrant thing is getting crazy, man.
It is.
She probably heard that people are letting people into that. Remember in Boston, that lady let them people live with her?
Oh, yeah.
So she probably heard about that and said, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot.
You know what she was saying to him?
Yes.
She was saying, I'm not like American woman.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to
Yeah.
do everything for you, cook for you, do this.
With a knife in her hand.
Yeah. She ready to chop some vegetables. She about to cook him up some curry goat, brother. I know. Like, what are you doing with that?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And speaking of migrants, speaking of crazy stuff, Simone sent us this video, so I got to give a shout out to him. And this is San Francisco.
So I just found out that San Francisco wants to use taxpayer dollars to beg criminals not to shoot people. I know. I thought it was a joke too when I saw it.
Mom.
No, it's the same one coming up.
Nah, it might be frozen. Let me
Yeah.
see. Might be frozen. Let me see. Because I have a different. There you go.
But it's not.
So Sharon, talk to us a little bit how this plan is actually going to work.
Well, Chris and Marcus, good morning. Yes, the chosen ambassadors will be paid not to shoot people, believe it or not. The city is launching the pilot program in October, paying people $300 a month to not commit crimes. The goal is to reduce gun violence.
Dude,
it will start
no.
with 10 people who want to change their lives and become community ambassadors. Participants will have to pass an interview. The Human Rights Commission says the idea has been shown to be a cost-effective way
So
to
how do
reduce
you
gun crimes in other
interview
cities.
this? Listen, I feel like shooting somebody, but I heard about this.
Excuse me, sir. I wanted to commit crimes, but I heard y'all was giving out free money instead, so I would like to offer up my services. Like,
yo,
how are they going?
Even like, what is going on? Who is in charge of these ideas,
bro? Crazy.
This is bad. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This sounds like some Onion or what's it called? Babylon B.
These are real. This is a real story, bro.
This is not real.
This is real. This is real.
Can't be life.
I hope is our live stream still going? It said something about the music. I knew that music was gonna get us copyrighted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It
But
does.
Is it still live for you? It's showing that it's live over here.
No. Wait. I don't know. Are we still live, guys?
If you're on Facebook,
because I'm only seeing one person, and I know that's not right. So
yeah, that's got to be something going on. I don't know if someone is watching. If someone is over there, drop a comment, hit the like button. Let us know what's going on with Facebook because something weird happened. But it's showing that we're live on my end.
yeah, I think we're live. I don't know. I haven't seen any comments or anything has come up since we started, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. All right. Anyway, let's just continue. Yeah, so that's San Francisco right now, giving out $300 to not commit crimes. Just in case you were wondering how things are going, the state of this country. Let me see. Let's get into. Speaking of the state of this country, I saw this on. There's a Twitter channel that I follow called Quiver Quantitative, and they talk about stocks and they talk about the markets and stuff like that. They had this video that was very interesting. I'm gonna play it real quick. Let's see.
Senator Tuberville just dumped a huge amount of his portfolio this month, and I mean huge. To put it into perspective, out of the 61 trades he made over the last month, 59 of them were sales. The other 2 were purchases of put contracts, which if you don't know, is a way to bet against the stock. The reason I'm telling you this is because Tuberville isn't just your regular congressman. When it comes to trading, he has one of the best records in Congress, right next to Nancy Pelosi. And maybe one of the reasons behind this performance is the crazy amount of Senate committees that he's on. There's too many to read, so you can pause and take a screenshot if you want. But it's safe to say, with the amount of privileged info he gets from sitting on all these committees, you definitely want to pay attention to his trades. Now, here's the weird part. Whenever you see a lot of bulk buying or selling by a lawmaker, you typically see some sort of trend. For instance, they could be selling financial stocks or buying energy stocks. But with the Tuberville trades here, I don't see any rhyme or reason to it. He's selling everything from automobile companies like Ferrari, semiconductor stocks like AMD, regional banks like Southern State, and I could go on and on. But here's the catch though. As if Tuberville selling all these stocks isn't a bad enough sign, this week specifically, we've seen some of the richest people in the world selling billions in stocks. In February alone, Jeff Bezos sold 33 million shares of Amazon, which at $170 each comes out to $5.6 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, same story, 900,000 shares of Meta for $416 million. And the list goes on. My point is, when selling like this is going on by the world's richest and most powerful people, it makes you wonder if they know something that we don't. To see any of the data mentioned in this video, I'm at a website called Quiver Quant where you can track it all for free, and would love for you to check it out when you get the chance. And as always, thanks for watching.
Something going on. Yeah. They're dumping all these stocks. People building bunkers. Mark Zuckerberg building bunkers. They're totally dumping stocks. Like selling off Facebook stock, selling off Amazon stock.
Wow.
Something's going on with the markets. So something to pay attention to. And then the other thing was, look how the congressmen and women, Nancy Pelosi and such, will use their knowledge of deals being made to be some of the best traders in the world. Like people that just seem to get all the right bets in the stock market on Wall Street because they know what's going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So they use that knowledge to place these bets and get rich and enrich themselves. I mean, that is corruption 101 in the government, man.
Yeah. Another reason why we have to pray.
Yep.
Another reason why when these things happen, a lot of people go into fear, like, something's going on.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then start speculating. But I think praying, trusting God, allowing Him to lead you is very important.
Yeah. Speaking of trusting in God and these times that we're in, there was a story, Joe Rogan had Aaron Rodgers on his podcast. Mm-hmm. And there was this portion of the podcast where Joe Rogan was like, we need Jesus to come back. You know? Yeah. This is an article from the Gateway Pundit about it. So Joe Rogan says we need Jesus and that he wants him to come back, talk scripture with Aaron Rodgers.
Because it's not even...
And I'm not even getting anything.
Yeah. You're not getting anything what?
On the Youngline TV.
I am.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Something's up with the signal. Trying to send this. Yeah, this is weird. I'm gonna close Desktop Presenter and try to bring it back up. Crazy. Okay, it's working now. All right, so it says, Joe Rogan, we need Jesus, and that he wants him to come back, talk scripture with Aaron Rodgers. Joe Rogan, host of the, we know all that. I hate when they do this whole intro. He expressed how humanity requires guidelines to thrive. Christianity provides these needed guidelines, unlike woke ideology and egocentric thinking. Rogan is very astute. He is also pragmatic and humble. He doesn't pretend to be anything he isn't, nor does he apologize for his opinions. Pure observation and clear deductions lead him to believe we need Jesus right now, and many agree. He says, like, if he came back now, it would be great, Rogan said. Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back now is a good time. Now's a good time. We are kind of effed. Rogan explained how people can be easily led by evil forces and forms when they don't have the divine spirit to guide them. He highlighted how human beings can sink to depravity when left to their own devices, pointing to the broken moral compasses of some soldiers who participate in the bloodshed and inhumanity of war and then fail to reintegrate back into society. We do need Jesus, of course, not just to soothe the veterans, but to heal the moral decay ravaging society. Bloated intellect is only making our problems worse. Just look at the inflated egos of so many in government, then gather where we are as a nation. Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci are all exceedingly clever, but are they helping? Yeah. So I'll play a little clip from that shows them kind of going into this.
Very weird. It's all very creepy. And the fact that it was a real place. I told you, like, I was
Let's
telling
talk
you
about
what
Epstein.
Alex Jones told me about that a long time ago. I thought he was out of his mind. There's a place, they take them, they compromise them, they have kids, and like, what?
Your impression
What?
is so good.
I've known that guy forever. I knew that guy before he talked like that. His voice wasn't as scraggly. All the years of tequila and vodka. But I thought it was nuts, and it turned out to be true.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's a fucked up world we live in. We need Jesus. I think for real. Like if he came back now, it'd be great. Like Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back,
right now,
now's a good time.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah,
now's a good time. We're kind of fucked.
Well, there's a lot of people that think that might be coming.
Well, it might be.
Mark of the beast.
That might be the aliens. I mean, that might be what all this stuff is. It might be we reach a certain point where we're so unmanageable and so chaotic that something comes down and gives us a guideline. I mean, this is what Moses essentially experienced, supposedly, right? When he came back with his 10 commandments. This is supposedly what, these people that have had these religious visions, there's a way to follow, and there's a greater power that's above everything, that controls this whole thing and keeps it all together.
This shit matters.
Yeah.
That,
it does matter.
Yeah, like everything we do matters. I think if, atheists, I think, can find their own religion. It might be religion of science or religion of climate change or whatever it might be, but to not believe in a higher power means that really nothing I do matters, ultimately.
So real quick,
that's it.
Courtney says she can't see the podcast. I think there's something going on, dude. I can see it, but again, nobody's commented. We've only had, it says 2 people. Something's going on.
Yeah. I don't know. There's people watching on. There's people watching right now on YouTube.
Well,
there's people
I'm
watching
just
on
saying
Rumble.
on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, jump over to YouTube or Rumble or maybe IG. See if IG is live right now. It's showing it live on IG.
Maybe they're.
Facebook might have blocked our video, I think, because I did get a notification, something about copyright, and I think it was that music. So if you were on, well, if they can't hear this, if they're on Facebook, so just tell her to jump over to one of the other platforms.
Instagram, right?
Instagram, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, any of those.
Well, I know she's on Instagram. So.
Yeah, you can jump on Instagram and see us. Were you listening to any of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going.
I have a hard time with that because I believe there's a seen world and an unseen world, and there's forces of good and forces of evil, and that there's a purpose for all this, and there's a lot of reasons why we're doing this. There's a lot of opportunities to do this. If there is the Christianity part and Jesus wants to come back and save everything,
it'd be good right around now.
Yeah, I got to think that something. I think this is going to be a crazy year. I think something, especially if it gets down to it.
Yeah.
But
it's a wild world we live in. The fact that all this is true, and that this is like inarguably true. All the things we're saying is inarguably true.
That's not the words. Like the.
Yeah. So they kind of were talking about that for a while.
Yeah, I think people. You got to come to the point where you feel broken, right? Where you're gonna
almost hopeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna search for something. I think there's something inside of all of us where it's like that deep, innate feeling where you feel hopeless, but you know there's something else you're searching. Because that's still hope, right?
Right.
Even in your hopelessness, you're like, no, there's got to be something. There's got to be someone. And it takes a broken person to be able to find God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it says blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And that pureness is just to be broken before God.
Right.
It's not really like you're pure in terms of like you're clean. No, you're pure in terms of your intention, you know, like where your heart is like seeking after God because you have nothing left.
Right.
And you know you need him.
Yeah.
I think that's where most people have to get. You know, people get to a point of brokenness, but then they feel like, I got to fix myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or you should give me some kind of self-help thing that I can do.
Right.
And that's what most people look for.
I think it does point to a interesting shift in culture too. That like you're seeing more people
definitely.
that were like hell-bent atheists, like clowning anyone who talked about God, to even like for Joe Rogan to be saying the things that he's saying now shows the shift even in his thinking, you know, and realizing how foolish it was just to like settle that in his mind before, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's literally foolish. It's so funny. Like the wisdom of the world is foolish.
Yeah,
or the foolishness
of God. Yeah,
is better than the wisdom of the world.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother thing, but to people, it's foolish to worship God.
Yeah.
You know, it's foolish to trust in God.
I think you were thinking of God uses the foolish things to confound the wise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the wise think they got it all figured out.
Right.
You know? But yeah, that was interesting that they went into that and that whole conversation, and it's like Jesus should come back. I thought that was interesting. You know, of course they go into a little bit more of the psychedelic, and you know, if Moses was, you know, the concept that God intervened in society multiple times, which is true. You know what I mean?
Right.
He had to intervene because things were getting out of hand.
Yeah.
He did it with Noah too, you know.
Yep. But it takes somebody. If you notice, there's always somebody who intercedes.
Yeah.
Noah,
Moses, Jesus.
There's always somebody who's coming into agreement with God.
Yeah. All right, so I want to move on to this next story. I thought this was pretty crazy. So I saw this thing from the American Red Cross. Pull this up, Mom, please. So people were noticing that when you go to try to give blood, that they are asking this very important question. And the question is, have you ever had a coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine? And then it says down here at the bottom, if your answer is yes to this question, please call their 800 number before coming in to donate to determine if this will affect your eligibility.
Wow.
Why would they all of a sudden why would there be some, you know, some wiggle room around your eligibility if you've been vaccinated or not?
Yeah.
To donate blood.
Well, you know the answer to that.
Yeah. I mean, I can speculate. I can deduce. But I'm just putting it out there for others who are so adamant to, you know, believe the narrative, to think like, why would they be doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why would that be put out there like that? Any news on people? Did she find the stream on IG?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Yeah, man. So they apparently they are screening people to see if they've been vaccinated or not. And then let me pull this up. And then this leaked It was an old video of in August 2021, Zuckerberg warned staff not to take vaccine, yet continues advocating it to the masses. This video of him saying this leak. Now I'm gonna play it.
What?
I share some caution on this because we just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's DNA and RNA to directly encode in a person's DNA and RNA, basically the ability to produce those antibodies, and whether that causes other mutations or other risks downstream. So
No.
Let's play that
I
again.
share some caution on this
no.
because we just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's DNA and RNA to directly encode in a person's DNA and RNA, basically the ability to produce those antibodies, and whether that causes other mutations or other risks downstream. So
How much you want to bet they're going to say this was a deep fake or something? AI generated.
I mean, dude, it's so hard now
to tell.
Yeah, it's so hard.
I mean, you can tell when it's AI. I've seen people post stuff, and even to this day, where they're like, "Oh, what is this video?" And it's like clear. I'm like, that's AI.
Yeah,
you know, you can tell by the way the voice is speaking. You can tell by the movements of the person in the video.
I've seen some that, yeah, I've seen most of them. I see look fake, but I don't know if he did say this. That's crazy.
Yeah,
because he knew.
Mm-hmm. In 2021.
No. But I'm saying there's evidence. Like,
yeah,
he knew.
He knew, and he openly said it to his staff, but then said something different to the masses.
Yes, and this is stuff that we obviously knew about.
Yeah,
stuff we obviously talked about. But
yeah, we've been talking about it.
The
from
fact
day one.
that, like, and then on Facebook, as we're talking about this, it's being dubbed as misinformation.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep. So. Yep. So,
Sarah says she can't see it anymore.
We'll tell her to go on YouTube. So then, I saw this article on the same line with back in 2020. Let's just watch a little bit of this because this is like 5 minutes long. I'll watch.
We begin with a little told story about COVID vaccine injuries. It's the story of Maddie, one of the children who took part in Pfizer's vaccine study on children. It's a remarkable account of what happened when Maddie got very, very sick, leading to accusations that Pfizer, the FDA, and the study leaders tried to bury her case. In summer of 2020, Stephanie DeGarry and her family learned an important clinical trial was about to be launched at nearby Cincinnati Children's Hospital. It would test Pfizer's experimental COVID-19 vaccine on 12 to 15-year-olds to see if it was safe and effective. The DeGarrys, firmly pro-vaccine, didn't hesitate to let their children take part. Among
Very
3
pro-vaccine.
siblings, 12-year-old Maddie alone was chosen to get 2 doses of Pfizer's vaccine rather than a harmless placebo. It proved a fateful and debilitating roll of the dice.
Her second dose was January 20th of 2021. She had, like, what she described as electrical shocks going up and down her spine. She said she felt like her heart was being ripped out. So chest pain. She had severe abdominal pain. She was hunched over when she walked through the door. Her toes and her fingers were white, and they were like, when you touch them, they were ice cold and painful.
Did you think right away that this was probably a vaccine reaction?
100%. There was nothing wrong with her prior to that.
Before long, Maddie lost feeling in her legs. Here, she's scooting on the floor and using her hands to lift her legs. DeGarry says she was shocked when the lead study doctor offered no help. She found herself reluctantly following the advice of physicians who insisted Maddie's paralysis, seizures, passing out, all of it were caused by anxiety.
When she was in her hospital stay in April,
anxiety.
they treated her horribly. Like, they treated her like a crazy person.
Maddie was rushed to the ER 9 times. By the time she was hospitalized for the 3rd time, she had heart problems, seizures, was passing out, vomiting, unable to swallow, and was fed through a tube. She was in the hospital that time for a month and a half.
Hey, welcome back.
Studies are conducted to identify and investigate any health risks. Maddie's reaction was a giant red flag for Pfizer's vaccine. But the Daguerres say those involved seem more interested in blaming Maddie's illnesses on anything but the obvious culprit. While Maddie was fighting for her life, the FDA granted emergency use of Pfizer's vaccine for kids as young as age 12, based on the study Maddie took part in. In a press release, Pfizer reported its vaccine had a favorable safety profile observed across 6 months of safety follow-up data after the second dose. No mention of what happened to Maddie. Parents across the country started rushing to get their children the heavily promoted shots.
I took a trip up there to the North Pole.
Yeah, so you get the idea. They buried this story.
Yeah, I saw this before. I think I sent it, or maybe I was going to send it and I never did. It's been out for a while.
Yeah, that's story's been around for a while, but I just wanted to show that because there's so many things surrounding this that people.
I mean, that's sad.
Yeah,
it's very sad. And imagine how many parents that were scared and they didn't know, and they gave their kids vaccines.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's bad, man. It hurts me. But I think, like, again, like, to me, I believe that there's so much that God protects us from that we don't even realize.
Yeah.
Every day that could affect us, and we don't. I think we'll find out one day how much God has protected us from that we didn't even know was right there, ready to destroy us.
Yeah.
You know?
I just saw a video on these baking dishes that are made out of like plastic or something, and how dangerous they are when you put them food in there and you make baked goods and stuff. It has all this toxic stuff that goes into the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, plastics are a huge issue, and we use them in everything now.
Yep.
I mean, all of our food is stored in plastic. When we buy it from the store, everything's coming in plastic. Everything.
It's not like plastic. It's like a rubbery thing that they bake goods in.
Yeah,
It's like a
I mean,
new thing now.
all of that stuff though is full of chemicals that are leaching into our food, and causing issues. I mean, that's why there's people are having all of these hormonal issues, all of these. Yeah, all these things.
Yeah, but again, these are all things we give up our responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
We give it up to the experts. We give it up to the people that say that to trust us, right? Trust us. And why? Why should we trust them?
Yeah.
They want to make money. Why would I trust you? We can't even trust our own spouses.
Right.
But then we want to trust people and act like they got our best interest at heart. Says who?
Shout out to Boosted False. He said, "Told you Facebook is trash." Yeah, Courtney's on YouTube right now. So is Thuris. So
You
shout
said
out to
that
people.
on Facebook?
No, he said that on YouTube. He said that on YouTube.
That's what to say.
Yeah, YouTube because IG and Facebook both went down, so they definitely blocked us on both
IG
of them.
went down too?
Yeah, both of them are down. But we're good on. We're still on Rumble. We're still on YouTube. I think Twitter and Twitch. So we're good. Yeah, but one of the things that Joe Rogan and Aaron Rodgers talked about too was all of these young people that have been dying, having heart attacks.
Yeah,
and they're trying to pass it off as a spike in anxiety, a spike in, they're trying to, they've coined a new term. And we've talked about new language on this podcast so many times. You've heard of SADS. They have SIDS, right? What is
I've never heard of SADS.
You know what SIDS is, right, Mom?
Yeah.
Sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah.
SADS, think about it. Sudden adult.
Okay.
They're coming up with that. They're throwing that out there now. People dying of that, and they're trying to stop the phrase of "died suddenly" being used. Like there's all these news stories, and so I saw a video of a compilation of it on Twitter where all of the language now is medical emergency. So they're using that instead of "died suddenly" because remember people were logging all the "died suddenly" news articles,
right?
And so now they're not using that terminology anymore because they don't want to feed that narrative. So they're saying medical emergency instead. It was a medical emergency. And, you know, yeah. One more thing about the vaccine that I saw that was pretty interesting, and then we'll move on. I saw this on Chris Cuomo's new show.
The reason the comparison to HIV is important is because HIV was also asymptomatic. I mean, you couldn't see the virus through symptoms because people were infected for 7, 8, 9 years before they developed symptoms. But HIV quietly destroyed our immune system, and we learned a lot about immunology from HIV, and it's changed completely our cancer therapy. We're learning now about mitochondria and viral impact and brain fog and the changes in our neurons and the cells that nourish our neurons that really allow us to think and move. And we're learning that because what of long COVID has done. And so there's two sides of this coin every time. There's a lot of destruction that mild and moderate COVID can do that is on scene, just like HIV was destroying our immune system. But what came out of that is brilliant science that changed how we treated HIV. And if you're diagnosed today, you can live a very normal lifespan, and people not only survive but thrive. We need to get to the place where people with long COVID, we've done the research.
What is long COVID? Where is this coming from?
They're trying to introduce the idea. They've been talking about long COVID for a long time now. They're trying to introduce the idea that someone who got COVID and it's affected them forever.
Are they? So you think they're trying to connect it to?
They're trying to connect
vaccines?
it to the. They're trying to deflect from the vaccine and make it that COVID is causing it. Wow. The fact that you got COVID before is causing it. But you see how she's trying to compare COVID to HIV now, saying how it breaks down your immune system, right?
Yeah.
But when we found out that the studies from these vaccines is that does that, right? So if they can connect it to COVID, it deflects it from the vaccine, and you can say that people who had COVID are suffering this immune, degenerative immune symptom from it.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
So I just want people to be aware of the deflection there and how they're trying to move the goalpost on people.
Yeah. So again, can't trust them.
Nope. Can't trust them at all.
Can't trust them.
Can't trust them. Can't trust them. And here we go. I'm gonna show y'all something. Show y'all how you can't trust them, because we expose the products that we buy every day around here. So we got a video here on Simply Orange. Any Simply Orange fans in the room?
I don't drink orange juice.
You know, orange juice is bad for you. Period. Yeah. Right. But you used to be a fan of orange juice. Used to love. It was your favorite juice.
Simply Orange.
And you love Simply Orange, right?
This was like years ago.
And I don't think they were as bad then.
Yeah, they were like 10 years ago.
Yeah, when they first came out, they were supposed to be like the best orange juice brand. So apparently there's a lawsuit against them. Huh. Let's check it out.
With what just happened with Simply Orange, this should send shockwaves through the consumer market. So Simply Orange is owned by Coca-Cola.
Owned by Coca-Cola. Yeah. Talk about McDonald's. Mm-hmm. Another one of those brands is Coca-Cola. Who does Coca-Cola have its biggest deal with? McDonald's. That's why people always say McDonald's has the best Coke.
Yeah, because they have a special...
They have a special little deal with them.
Well, they also have a special...
way they deliver the product. No, not special ingredient. It's the way they deliver the product to McDonald's is in a way they deliver it to no one else. So it tastes fresher, they claim, because they deliver it in those metal containers. Okay. You know.
Coca-Cola, and here's what they just got caught doing. Now you may think with the slick branding, this is just simply orange juice, and it's not from concentrate, so that's good, right? The problem is oranges are on the dirty dozen, which means they're part of the 12 fruits and vegetables that are the most sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. So right off the bat, since it's not organic, you're getting doses of chemicals, pesticides, but that's not what this controversy is about. And it's not about the synthetic vitamins that they put in here either. Coca-Cola, the parent company, has now been sued because of high levels of toxic forever chemicals that are found in Simply Orange juice. Forever chemicals, also known as PFAS chemicals, is basically what's used to coat a non-stick pan, which we know there's many documentaries about the extreme damaging effects of these chemicals on the human body. So my guess is that their entire factory uses Teflon non-stick material, and that's how hundreds of times, look at this, hundreds of times above federal limits for drinking water. So they're getting sued because they say, made simply, Simply Orange, it's just Simply Oranges, and yet it has hundreds of times of a neurotoxic, DNA damaging chemical in it. Let me know in the comments if...
Yeah. So you were just talking about that, Mom, talking about products. Like, how long was Teflon used?
I was like going to say that, this is the best product because they want you to buy to die.
Yeah. Well, they like Jake said, they want us to hand over our responsibility for convenience. Teflon, what was the sell? Oh, you don't have to scrub your pans down. Yeah. Things don't stick to it. It's so much easier to clean.
Yep.
Oh, so I want that convenience. I got to spend less time washing dishes. This is great.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're giving yourself dementia. You're giving yourself brain cancer. You're giving yourself Alzheimer's. You're giving yourself metal toxins that causes autism and autism in your kids.
Yeah, man.
That's why I'm changing my pants.
So you're drinking Simply Orange out there. Know that they're being sued for the toxicity and the chemicals that are being found in there that is way above the federal limit for drinking water.
People get cast iron pans.
Cast iron.
Yes, cast iron.
It's the iron in those pans is actually good for you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the videos that you sent me today. So it was about what's going on with this. Set it up.
Shout out to J-Lo.
J-Lo.
Puerto Rican.
Jenny from the Bronx.
Puerto Rican. New Yorican.
With my same last name.
With mom's same last name. She's got a new album, so I wanted to promote it. No, I'm just playing. She's got a new album out, and she's got a kind of a film, I guess you could say, to go along with it. And she's talking about, she's being vulnerable, talking about her life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's been married a bunch of times, like mom, too.
Mom's face.
Mom, put it on you. No?
No. I was like, she's going to get you for that later.
There's a difference, though, between you and her, right? But no. So she's been married a bunch of times. And just what she's talking about in here, I think a lot of people fall victim to this stuff. In her generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
/ our generation. But then the new generation, it's just even more debaucherous. It becomes more crazy, and it leads to more depression, anxiety, loss. And
wait a minute, she's actually talking about that?
well, the stuff she's talking about, I put the trailer in there. I kind of cut it up and made it. I just wanted to pay attention to the words she's saying. And then there was an interview she did to go along with it. So I cut some stuff up for that. But it's really just about like these ideas that we have been fed again, right? Like we just said, we're given these images of perfection, like a Jennifer Lopez, right? We're giving these idols, and then we listen to everything they say, and because we love them, we take it in. And you shouldn't, because they don't know what they're talking about, and they have no clue. So.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just before you pull this up, Mom. Theris on YouTube said, "I was a store manager there. It in a box called bibs. The CO2 is in the tank." Okay. I guess she's talking about the Coke from McDonald's. Yeah, I know there was something to the story. I looked it up before on why McDonald's Coke tastes better. It's the way they deliver it different than anywhere else.
Yeah. I thought there was like something they added to it too, but whatever.
I mean, we can look it up real quick.
I mean, I don't care.
All right, let's play it. J-Lo telling us about relationships. This is like Steve Harvey giving relationship advice. I don't know why people listen.
Well, this is a trailer for the film.
Oh, this is the trailer. Okay, gotcha.
Which goes along with her album.
Okay.
I know what they say about me, about hopeless romantics, that we're weak. And I'm not weak. I learned the hard way. Not all love stories have a happy ending.
What are you guys doing here? We think you might be a sex addict.
Every time I see you. What?
Maybe.
Third time's the charm?
This guy don't stand a chance.
Haven't been sleeping well lately. I guess I never have. When I was little, I used to share a room with my sister. She used to sleep so peacefully. And I just used to lie there awake thinking, how does anybody sleep that way when your heart never goes to sleep?
I know. You feel like nobody gets you.
I don't even get me.
It's never enough for you.
He's a liar.
I've never lied to you. And the constant criticism, she thinks I'm her employee.
Being with you feels like home. But I left home for a reason. Whenever someone asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, my answer was always in love.
I think it.
Okay. That's the trailer.
Yeah.
That looks like a garbage movie, first off.
So she said, whenever anybody asks me
what I want to be when
I grow up, I want to be in love.
You don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
You want to live the idea that you've been told what love is.
Well,
through your own
it starts out
imaginations or through fairy tales.
Yeah. The hopeless romantic.
Yes.
Which people look at you like you're stupid, right?
Yeah. But there's a reason for that, though, I think. Because it is rooted in fantasy. It is rooted in a sense of delusion, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But I think at the same time, there is a part of there's got to be more.
Yeah.
Right? There's something to...
A hope for something greater.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's
you
a good
connect
thing.
that to love,
Yes.
right? So that's why I don't want to...
But thinking that idea is going to be fulfilled by some knight in shining armor is where you go wrong.
Exactly. So you're always chasing after that.
Yeah.
And you see with her, like, she's been through a lot of divorces and marriages and relationships that have been public, so everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
And one thing I like is that she's facing it, right? She's being honest about it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, people like honesty, but it's like, who are you being honest to?
Right.
People or... You know.
I thought that one line was so cheesy where she said, how can you sleep when the heart doesn't sleep, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
what?
I mean, I think she meant like her heart is restless, you know, which is interesting if that's what she means. Like, even to say that, right? Because how many people are restless in terms of like, you're with somebody, but you like, is there something more out there for me?
Is there something better? Yeah.
You know, is there something better? I think that's what she means.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
thought she meant like the idea that my heart's beating even when I'm asleep, and like I can't make sense of that, so I can't sleep because I'm in fear of my heart not beat. I don't know. Like,
no, I think she meant it
Okay.
in that way, where it's like, I'm restless. Like, I want to be loved,
right?
Type thing. So I'm restless in that way. And I'm still not saying, like, it's interesting because the Bible talks about that it says there's no rest for the wicked. You know, it says that a couple times.
Yeah.
Or you could say there's no peace for the wicked. Right? Same type of thing. So you want this peace is connected to wholeness. You want this wholeness, but so you're always looking for this wholeness. What's going to make you whole? What's going to make you feel like you're yourself? You know, people want somebody to make them feel like they're themselves, right? But then it's always fleeting.
Yeah.
You're chasing after something that's never going to really be there.
It doesn't fulfill you in
No.
any way.
No.
Yeah.
So it's just that idea just of even do what's in your heart, go after what's your heart. To say I'm a hopeless romantic, it's even to say that, it's like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is why I get into all these different relationships. But she talks about it on the next part. So there was like an interview that she did.
It's the kind of most honest record that I've ever made, and I feel very connected to it because of that. It's not just personal. It's like my whole heart on the wax. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's my whole heart in the air, in the ether now, and I really feel like as I shared the music, I wasn't just sharing music. I was sharing a feeling, a message, a bigger idea. I shared this with you in the listening session. This book that was a gift that my husband gave me on our first Christmas back together. And it just had all these letters and correspondences that we had from the time we were together years ago and then when we got back together. And there was a few emails in between that were very...
She's married again to Ben Affleck. They got married?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. She's remarried to Ben Affleck.
They never got married.
They never got married?
First time. No.
Oh, okay.
They were about to get married and then they called it off.
I can't keep up.
I just know that because I'm watching this interview to get the stuff I wanted to get from it.
I was just thinking about, so that's why he did that cringy Super Bowl commercial. That's his wife now. Happy wife, happy night, happy life.
I don't even, did he?
You didn't see that Super Bowl commercial?
No.
Oh, we got to play that, bro. Real quick, we got to play that. We got to.
Okay.
I don't think you should do this. Last year she came to my work. Now I gotta show her what I can do.
He's here.
Affleck on the track.
What up, Bronx? For your consideration, here comes the Boston Massacre. The Dumb Kings. Touchdown Tommy on them keys. Player coach.
Got it.
I'm open. And needs no introduction, my partner.
Sometimes it's really hard to be your friend.
You said you were gonna support me.
Dumb Kings.
Don't go away. My heart. Why you dunking me, girl? Why you dunking me?
Dumb Kings.
My heart.
How do you like them donuts? I'm so sorry.
You had to see it, but I forgive you. Lay us on the track.
Are we gonna be on the album?
We talked about this.
Let's go. You're blinded by them pinstripes.
Wrap it up.
Here goes Babe Ruth.
Tom, you can stay.
You remember when I told you I'd do anything for you? This is anything.
Chill.
So much in that commercial. So much in that commercial. Wow. First of all, remember we were talking last week about how Kanye won because he $7 million for the spot alone.
Yeah.
Think about that commercial. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Fat Joe, Jennifer Lopez, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
How much money do you think Dunkin' Donuts spent on that commercial?
Yeah.
Bro, crazy. And then, so we're talking about J-Lo's album. So this kind of ties in.
Yeah.
Think about this little part right here that and I saw this when I first saw the commercial. I saw it when me and Moan were watching the first half in Jamaica. Let me see, where is it at? Oh, right. I think it's right here. This part right here stood out to me, and I ain't say nothing at the time, but...
You're blinded by them pinstripes.
Wrap it up.
Here goes Babe Ruth.
Tom, you can stay.
That part right there.
Yeah.
What is that saying to you?
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
It's like...
But it's allowed. It's like
she's flirting with Tom Brady.
Yeah, but it's like a normal thing.
But isn't that crazy, though?
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's like, yo, you're married. That's your husband.
Yeah.
But you are openly flirting with Tom Brady to stay.
Because that becomes the norm, right?
But that,
it's okay
that behavior is like, because Tom Brady is what, an upgrade from Ben? So she can...
it's just because it's Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that idea is like, remember when Jeff Bezos was out with his fiance and the way she acted when Leonardo DiCaprio came around?
Yeah. Yep.
It's that same type of mentality where it's like,
she was...
if it's somebody that's, I can throw myself at them and it's acceptable.
Right.
You know?
And it's acceptable to the men.
Right.
Why? Why does it become acceptable? No, it's never acceptable.
It shouldn't be. But I thought when I first saw this commercial, I thought that was crazy that they kept that in there.
Yeah.
Tom, you can stay. Like,
Well,
what?
That was that's a part of it.
Yeah, he's a part of it.
But again, like I was talking about, there's no peace. There's no peace for the wicked, right?
Yeah.
But before that, it says, "But the wicked are like the tossing sea, for it cannot be quieted, and its waters toss up mire and dirt."
Yeah.
So you're literally like she professes her love, but yet you throw stuff in here like that because it's always, you're always going to see.
That's the restless heart.
You're always going to see the restlessness.
Yeah.
You're always going to see this because it's really about desire, right? Like it's a joke, but it's about desire. Like, why do you even desire? Like if my wife said anything close to that, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, that's
exactly
not even funny.
Not only that, it's disrespectful.
Because it's not funny. Yeah. It's not. It's like for you to even start thinking in that way is a problem.
Yep.
Right. Vice versa. I shouldn't be thinking in that way.
Right.
Right. So it's these little things that happen, and that was just a joke. Is it though?
Yeah.
You know, it's these little things that happen where we just let these things in. We let these ideas in that sound right. Even in terms of like falling in love, like we said, you don't fall in love. It's not an accident.
Right.
These little ideas, and it becomes so whimsical. Like instead of knowing and being grounded in love. What is love? And being grounded in it to where you know that you know that you know.
Yep.
That's totally different. That's what trust is about, right? Faithfulness is about. So I think that's the biggest issue with this whole thing that we're dealing with is you don't really trust. Like to even think in that way, you're not really trusting in somebody fully, which I don't think you really can.
Yeah.
If you don't have God. I don't think you can trust in man.
Yeah.
Really, right?
Yeah.
But so where's your grounding at in order to trust somebody? Like how can I can't really love my wife without God. He takes me that step further,
right?
To be able to love her in a way I could never love her myself,
right? Truly love her, not in the false idea of what loving someone is,
right?
Where it's like I just feel that I love you,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But actually defining that, like, you know, like you get into the whole soulmate thing. You know, she's gonna get into that. I don't know if she actually says it, but just how she talks, you can hear it, and it becomes like this whole. It again, it's a farce. It's the real thing is so much better. The real thing, which is the love of God, that comes and spills over into marriage.
Right.
That's the point. The real thing is so much better.
Yeah.
Right. But this is a farce. This is the fake thing, and then you feel like it's true.
Yeah.
You know. So
all right, let's keep going.
Very kind of like cordial, but he also kind of put our story in there in that book. I brought it in there, and that kind of really set the tone for everybody to understand what the mission was. Like, we're going to put this feeling.
I just got to point out, like, even the way she's dressed.
Yeah.
Like, the way... Yeah, she has no clothes under that vest.
Yeah.
Even that.
Yeah.
Like, that has become acceptable for a married woman to show her body off like that.
Yep. And again, like it's not like we're saying what the hell is wrong with J-Lo type thing. This is just we're just saying this is where we've come. This is where it's come to. This is what she's fallen to because she didn't know. She don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And these are the people that other people idolize and look up to.
Right.
And emulate. In a lot of ways, yeah.
And then they think, I could wear something like that.
Right. It's perfectly normal.
Her story, listen to her story.
Yeah.
Like, so she's talking about a book that Ben Affleck made for her, which had to do with like letters and email, a bunch of stuff that he put together for her. And then she's saying that was the catalyst for her writing this album and everything. Like, so this is what she's talking about.
Got you. That's what she's talking about with her cleavage out and you know.
Yeah.
Of this.
When she's talking about her heart is open, so she wanted to show everybody where her heart is. You know, she got to show you that this is where the open heart is residing.
Yeah.
Journey and what I've learned about love, which I've been searching for my whole life. What is it? What does it mean? Does it exist? Into this record. And we're going to show people through this music a celebration of love, but really that true love exists and forever. Some things do last forever. I think people, you know, we all get sold this kind of bill of goods, like these magical things don't exist in life, and they do. Magic is out there.
Magic is
it's real.
But you have to work to hold on.
Well, that's why the whole story was not the album.
Yeah, right.
The whole story has to do with how you get there and the things that the difficult, really challenging things we have to go through as people to learn ourselves and to understand ourselves and to get to a place where we can do the thing that human beings are meant to do in this life, which is love each other, right? Like that's the big mission. It's like that's the goal. That's the thing that, you know, if you get to the end of your life, you go, I love somebody and they loved me too.
True love is having the person, your soulmate, sit on camera and see a side of you that you didn't even see yourself until you did the work. Recognizing that only you can go through that experience to truly learn to love yourself. That's true love.
He says this a lot. Do the work.
Yeah.
Right? And
that is a phrase that has...
It annoys
it's in the zeitgeist right now.
It annoys me.
And it's all a part of psychology training. You know, all these people that study psychology, these are the words, the language that they use.
Yeah.
You know, do the work.
Do the work.
Yeah. No one knows what that means. It's just something that they say.
Well,
I'm doing the work.
The work is get with a psychologist and let him work on you.
Right. I'm doing the work.
Instead of letting the Lord work on you.
Right.
It's real soulmate.
Well, what it is it allows you the love when it allows you the kind of like bed to lie in to look at those things.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was on my own all those years and in and out of different relationships, I was wondering, you know, why things didn't go in a way that I wanted them to go. Because I had the best intentions with these relationships. And I think those people did too. And I was like, why? And the thing was, is I had to figure out myself. The thing was, I wasn't looking at it. I never felt safe enough to really look at it. I just had to keep going because things hurt and it was hard and I didn't understand it. And I was trying to figure it out. And so when Ben and I got back together, I was able to, he was like, well, aren't you upset about some of these things that happened? I'm like, no, I'm good. And he's like, well, he made it safe for me to look at myself in a lot of ways that I just hadn't done. And now that I was older and had done a lot of work on myself, I was able to recognize that and go, well, yeah, I do need to look at those things. And the experience of making the record and being so happy and celebratory and then delving deeper and deeper into the journey that it took to get there, which was, you know, harrowing at times and painful and tough,
really tough.
and not pretty.
Oh, yeah. My
And-
therapist said to me when I first went and found the right therapist on the 1.0 therapy, not the 2.0 therapy, the first time, and said, what do you want? I said, I want to go back. I don't want to be here. Let me go back to that place where I didn't realize there was anything wrong and I was just blissfully unaware.
Ignorance can be bliss.
And,
Yeah.
and he said, I got good news and bad news. He said, the bad news is you can't. You're here. There's only one way forward. The good news is it's going to be tough, but if you do the work, you'll be so much happier than
It's
you
going
think
to be
you
so
will.
much better.
Do the
I
work.
don't really know what all the purpose of all of it.
So, did you notice what she said? Like, she was looking for, she never had that safety, right? It kind of stems, and they kind of talk about it. It goes back to your childhood, right?
Yeah.
But now she has this guy who's like, gives her this safe
security
place, right? But what happens when you don't feel that anymore? What happens when he does something
that eliminates that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't, your safe place is not
In
a
him.
person.
Yeah.
It can't be, you know, because what happens is eventually they're going to let you down.
Yeah.
You know, and it just reminds me of, this is Jeremiah. And I think like this verse is connected, like you can bring this back to the beginning of the very beginning of the Bible, but it's Jeremiah 17:5. It says, thus says
Hold on. Valiant Thor said, is this live? Yes, it is. But go ahead.
Thus says the Lord, cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength. So this is what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart turns away from the Lord. He is like a shrub in the desert and shall not see any good come. He shall dwell in a parched place of wilderness, in an uninhabited salt land. So you're always going to feel like, for a moment, you feel these moments of happiness, joy, right? These moments, but it's not going to last because something's going to happen, right, to put you in a place of feeling isolated.
Right.
Right. But then it says, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green. So like when things get heavy, you trust in God. Like you don't need any person to put your trust in. Do we trust people? Yes, we trust them because I trust God.
Right.
Right? I trust, I get married and I marry my wife, or I got married, I married my wife because I trusted God. Right? And when and even in my love, I recognize that my wife is learning how to trust me, but also trust God, right? It takes somebody to humble themselves. But who are we humbling ourselves to first? You have to humble yourself to God first. It takes somebody in the same sense of humbling to submit yourself to, right? Who am I submitting myself to? So then it says, for its leaves remain green and is not anxious in the year of drought. Isn't that key? Doesn't run away, right? It's not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. And then here's the key. If about the curse, right? And the blessing. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked or sick. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, searches the hearts, tests the minds, to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. So again, we don't trust man. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust the heart of man. We don't trust the heart of man or woman, right?
Right.
We don't trust our own heart. We trust in the heart of God.
Right.
Why? Because how can you receive pure love from an impure heart? The only pure heart is God. The only one who came in purity was Jesus, right?
Right.
So he shows us the way to purity. Now, isn't it interesting that it says, cursed is the man who trusts in man, right? But what happened at the beginning when man trusted in his woman and listened to her?
Yeah.
Right? And didn't listen to God. He listened to his woman to say, oh, here, eat this tree that came from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that you know God told you not to eat from, but you're not going to listen because I'm telling you. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So he trusted in his woman. And let me see if I can find that. Okay, Genesis 3:17. And Adam, and he said to Adam, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten the tree of which I commanded you not to eat from, or which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat, or in toil, right? In toil, in suffering, you shall eat. And isn't that similar to our hearts?
Yeah.
Our ground is the heart.
Yep.
Right? Jesus said it. He said, the sower sows the word. Where does he sow it? He sows it in our hearts. Right? So even think about that. The woman spoke. The man listened. Right? But it was out of order.
Yeah.
God speaks. Jesus comes. He's the word. He gives us the word. When we implant it in our hearts and we don't let go of it, our ground becomes good ground, right? That is going to produce a harvest. It's going to bear fruit, right? This is the whole point. We're coming out of the curse, but the problem is the ground is cursed for your sake, meaning you're going to have to learn how to struggle and toil with your heart.
Right.
You're going to struggle with your heart.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with pain. You're going to deal with suffering. You're going to deal with a heavy heart. And you're going to have to learn how to work through all these things. With who? With God. Because he's the only one who can show you how to work the thing he gave you in the first place.
Do the work.
Do the work. But not
actually do the work.
Actually do the work, right? Because and that's connected to, now remember we were talking about earlier, right? About the wicked, right? They have no rest. They have no peace. But Jesus gives us rest, right? Come to me, all you who weary, right? I'll give you rest. So you look at all these anxious people, and to me, that's what Jennifer Lopez looks like to me. She looks like somebody who is putting her trust. She wants to find something, right? She wants to find the truth, and she feels like she's found it. She hasn't found it. Now, there might be pieces of it, right? But no, the truth is in Jesus. Until you find Jesus, you will miss it, right? And you see it in the movie. You see all the, like, they got the Zodiac all over, you know, like people trusting in the signs that they are, all these things.
Right.
So they miss it, right? Because they put their trust in these things that they think they can identify with. They think tell them who they are. But that's not who you are. So the heart is wicked. Who can know it?
Yeah.
But then God says there therefore remains in entering into that rest, right? So we have to enter into the rest of God. And it says, strive to enter into that rest, lest you fall into disobedience, like like the world. And isn't it interesting how, like, everybody wants safety and protection, but nobody wants correction, right? We talked about this at church, like my rod and my staff, the rod of correction, the staff of protection, it comforts you, right? Psalms 23.
I was just going to say that psalm.
Yeah, Psalms 23. So that's the rest, right? We're coming into that rest, but strive to enter into that rest. So in the midst of you feeling like you want to do you got to submit to that correction. You know, then you can, it's funny, you have to actually submit to correction so that you can come under protection.
Right.
How many people are anxious and like, God, protect my family, protect, you know, everything. But if we're in faith and we trust God, we're already protected.
Right.
We're already in his refuge. We're already in his safety.
Yeah.
But if we're unsure of that, then we're like the waves of the sea being tossed to and fro. So we're like the wicked, right? We're like the wicked who are restless.
Right.
So if we're feeling restless, then that means we're actually disobedient to God, right? And then we can recognize, oh, I have to face this. See what I mean? Like being honest with ourselves. And that's what I can appreciate with what she's saying. Like, I had to be honest with myself. Okay. But where you turn and face is the most important thing. When you're honest with yourself, who's the one that's going to be able to show you the truth, right? The Lord is the one who searches the hearts. He knows your heart inside and out. He knows how to mend your heart. He knows how to mend the brokenhearted, right?
Right.
So we don't have any of this if we don't trust him.
Right.
And this is the next part they talk about, because so many, it starts as a child when we're in our houses and we don't feel safe in our houses, right? And we don't feel like we're loved. Our parents aren't around. And even in terms of the society we live in or whatever, your parents try their best, you know, but they're not giving you the things that sometimes we really need.
Yeah.
Right. And that's security. Right. And even if we feel like we don't have it, they're not there to secure us in the word of truth to show us, no, that's not true. Right. And then that creates us trying to trust in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then us being our own mirror of, well, if it doesn't look the way I think it needs to look, well, then it doesn't add up and it doesn't measure up. And now I'm measuring everybody based off of that. And that's where we get that fake love thing from. And, you know, so this is the next thing they kind of go into.
Okay.
It is, and in terms of all of it, all I know is that the closest thing I've ever gotten to truly understanding what the purpose is are those two words: let go.
It's funny. I have a big piece of art in my office, and I don't know if I've told you. Did I tell you this? It literally has a hand like that and a green little bird in it, and the hand's just open and the bird's just sitting there, and it says "let go."
That's it.
And the whole thing is like, if you can just trust,
that's it.
The bird's not going to go anywhere. The prize is going to stay right there.
See, who are you trusting?
The minute you go,
right?
Who are you giving it to? Who are you letting it go to?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be able to take it on? You can't just let it go into the universe and just think just let it. No, you have to give it to somebody, you know, who's going to give you that security and that safety.
go like this.
Oh yeah, you kill it.
The bird is like,
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Right?
It's done.
You just
But it's
have to have
hard.
enough kind of sense of self and calmness and Buddha nature within you to just trust.
But as soon
I knew that was going to trigger mom. Buddha nature. Yeah. I mean, she's in Hollywood. That's what they all go down that path.
As soon as our trust gets broken as kids, which no shade to any parent, yours, mine,
I mean,
as a parent, as soon as that moment when a kid realizes they're not entirely safe, which is an important growth point.
Yeah.
But it starts you on this journey of like, well, what and who can I trust?
Right.
And what is safety to me?
Yeah.
And what is security to me?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, both in the film and in the movie, the idea that you acknowledge that this sort of concept of what do I want to be when I grow up? Well, I want to be in love.
Yeah.
I never even heard that answer before. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, because when you grow up and you're sold, like when I was a little girl, you know, it was all about fairy tales, Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, and this person and that.
There we go.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Person. And the whole thing was like, Prince Charming's going to come along and you're going to live in this beautiful castle and have beautiful dresses and it's going to be amazing and you're going to live happily ever after. And that was my idea. So I grew up and what I wanted to be was, you know, in love. And I had the heart of a romantic and of an artist. And so it became almost like the only thing that was important. And then as I grew up, I realized that was because, you know, I had a dad who worked all night. I had a mom who was kind of, you know, the center of attention all the time and a bit kind of like, you know, it's all about me. And, you know, so those two things.
She don't think she's that mom?
I mean,
she's like,
but again, you start to repeat.
Yeah.
Right? You
You
don't want to be like that, but then you realize you become the same.
Yeah,
You
but it's
play out
funny
the
that
same
she doesn't put that together herself.
Or maybe she has and she just doesn't say it. you know?
Yeah. I mean, and also it was funny that she didn't put together that like I grew up with the heart of the romantic. I grew up with, you know, but she doesn't piece that to the fact that was injected in her by all the things she said she grew up watching. She just said it. You know what I mean? Like that heart that you have, that desire was placed on your heart by you loving those. You attach yourself to those things and they became your desires. The idea of Prince Charming and living in the castle. And so you develop this heart of the romantic. She tries to attribute it to her being an artist.
Yeah.
You know,
well, even the fact that you think that's what an artist is.
Yeah.
Like even that's an imagery, right?
Yeah.
That's an image, right? It reminds me of Burn, right? People running around in circles, doing what they can to survive.
Trying to live up to this image they've been pushing all our lives. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sad, sad day when you find out you've been standing in your own way, right?
But you got to find that out first.
Yeah. But I think that's the point. Like when she realizes it, but where does she give that? How does she, like she said, let go? How do you let it go? Because she said like the bird in your hand, like when you don't want to let it go, but you actually abuse it and crush it because you don't want it to go. It's like a kid, you know.
It's Of Mice and Men. Remember Lenny?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you crush what you want to hold on to, right? And I think that's that's what we don't realize is that we do more harm than good. Like hurt people, right?
Right.
Why do you want to hold on so bad?
Right.
Why?
It's the damaged boyfriend who, you know, he is overly obsessive and controlling of his girlfriend because he doesn't want to lose her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was watching this guy talk about he was in polyamorous relationships, right? And he was talking, and he
was it Destiny?
No.
Oh.
And he was talking about how he came to Jesus, right? But he was saying that
definitely not Destiny.
definitely not Destiny. So he was saying that like he realized that he really didn't want these. He realized he fell in love with all these women he was with, but then as he fell in love, like he didn't want to hurt them, right? But he didn't have to. But then he felt like, well, I just want to be with you. But then he started lying to each one of them,
right.
And then he was like, but then I became honest. But even in my honesty, he was like, I realized like even going into it, I said, well, I want to do this polyamorous thing because I don't want to put any bonds on you. But I actually was giving myself control. I was giving control back to myself in a way because I was putting a stipulation in my mind so that if they did go and do something that I felt like I actually had control over it. Yeah. But I didn't have control over it. It was a false.
It's an illusion of control.
It's an illusion of control.
Yeah.
Right. So you have all these people who think they're free, but they're actually bound, and that's kind of what he was saying. He was like, when it got to the core, I realized how bound I really was.
Wow.
And I realized that no matter if we see it or not, there's boundaries. That's why. And he even talked. He was like, that's why you can't go even in terms of having sex. Yeah, you can have sex with anybody, but you can't go and have sex anywhere because you'll go to jail. Like there's still boundaries you don't even realize in law you have to abide by, right? But he said, but even in terms of our hearts and spiritually or souls, like there's boundaries that we cross, and they affect us when we cross them.
Right?
They affect us internally, just like you crossing a boundary. You know, you step over that line, you might get hurt. Right?
Right.
You might get hit with something. It's the same thing. You step over and you don't realize that hurt because we can tell ourselves we're not hurt. We can try to talk ourselves out of it, but eventually it's going to catch up to us. You can't outrun it, right? And it's going to find you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing that I think like it really hit me when he said, I thought I had control, but I realized, he said that I thought I was trying to be free, but then I realized I was actually trying to control everything around me. Right? But it was the opposite that you push. He was like, the ideology was the freedom, but it was actually the opposite.
It was a way, perverted way of controlling.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Really contributed to me wanting to, like, what about where's the love that I'm supposed to have, and I'm supposed to get, and so I was always looking for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So you see, like, it stems from her childhood, right? What she was going through, right? And then she's realizing it. But again, for me, I know, like, until she comes to the destination that is Christ, you're always going to be empty. You might be fulfilled for a little while, but then you're going to be empty again. You're going to wonder why you still feel this void.
Right.
Because nobody can do it for you. There's no person that can do it for you but the personhood of Jesus, you know?
Just like Psalm 23. What is the first part of it? The Lord is my shepherd.
I shall not want.
I shall not want.
Yeah.
That means nothing. Even though you have to go through the valley of the shadow of death, God is there. And
Yep.
He's going to be the one taking care of everything if you submit to him.
Yeah. And as a sheep, what are we? What is our shepherd? Our shepherd is the one who keeps us safe, right? It protects us. also leads us to
yeah.
slaughter, right?
Right.
Leads us, and we trust him in our slaughter, in our sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right? How many of us sacrifice to the wrong shepherds? Right? How many of us sacrifice to the wrong things we trust in, people we trust in?
Right.
We give our lives over to it, right? And then we're like, oh, what was the point of this?
Yeah.
What were we fighting for? You know, what are
we fighting for?
What are we fighting? Yeah. Why are we fighting for this thing? And then it was like, what was the point of all this?
Yeah.
You know?
But look, even the second part, he makes me to lie down in green pastures.
Yeah. He makes me.
Right. And then it says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside
Still waters. Yep.
And then he restores my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that restoration again. That's the peace, right? Isn't it interesting that the wisdom of this world is connected to the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? But the wisdom that's from heaven, like I'm thinking about James 3. You know how it says, the wisdom of this world is connected to envy and selfish ambition. But the wisdom that is from heaven is first pure, right? First pure. We're not pure.
Right.
So, you know, it doesn't come from us, right?
Right.
It says then peaceable, right? Gentle. It's not self-serving, right? And I know I'm not quoting it perfectly, but after that it says, and this is also connected to the tree of life. So you have the wisdom of this world, tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? Going back to Eve eating from the tree and giving it to her husband, right?
Yeah.
Backwards. We said this before. If her husband would have stopped Eve if he would have said no and then covered her, he's now coming against what she did, but he can cover her, right? But the thing was, he didn't say no to her, but he also took it himself, right? And received that same fallen nature. He
Right.
could have restored her, right? But he didn't. He took on the same nature, which came from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? The wisdom of this world. But then you have Jesus who comes in purity, and he gives us the fruit of righteousness, right? From the tree of life. You know how it says that the fruit of righteousness is a tree of life, right? And then it says in James 3, it says that the fruit of righteousness, or the harvest of righteousness, is sown in peace by those who make peace.
And look how funny that is. The next one after, he leads us beside still waters, he restores our soul. And then it says, he leads us in the paths of righteousness.
He leads us in the path.
For his name's sake.
Yeah.
Because everything goes back to him. It's for him. It's for his name's sake, but it's for us too. But it's for him, because at the end, he's going to be glorified.
Yeah, because he did it all. So that it goes back to saying, like, you got to do the work. No, let him work. It's not about us doing the work, because we can't do anything of ourselves. Every work that we can do is because we let him work in us. And therefore, like, fruit that comes from God, you know, the fruit of the Spirit, is not possible without letting him work in us. That's the thing. We have to let him work in us. And now we're able to bear fruit. Now we're able to work with him. But it's not even possible. So, like, to say, do the work, you know, it's impossible. How can a tree that's evil bear good fruit?
Yeah.
Impossible.
Right.
So you can't expect somebody who is an evil tree to do good.
Right.
Right. So they have to be transformed by the work of Jesus. They have to be transformed by the work of Christ, right? That he he did on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And it's through that when we humble ourselves and give ourselves up to his work that he can work in us. Then we see how our lives change. And that's a process, obviously. We're still going through that process every day, right? But that, to me, and seeing her, like, I'm seeing this, like, when I look at J-Lo and what she's talking about, I'm seeing what I came out of, right? I'm seeing what I grew up in and what I came out of and all the insecurities. Like, you know how when you're a teenager and this is on so many movies, like you're a teenager and then people, they do dumb things like as a group and then you just do it. You don't even know what you're doing, but it seems cool, so you do it. And then I used to always be like, why did I do that? Like when I'm by myself, I'm like,
you reflect.
I don't even know why I did that.
Right.
Like, you know, but because you're in this moment, you're like, oh, this is the thing to do.
Right.
And they don't even know why they're doing it.
No one does.
Nobody knows why they're doing it.
There's a thing called teenage angst that they talk about. And it's always depicted in those movies where it's like, you're trying to figure out your place in society.
You're trying to figure out your identity.
You're trying to figure out your identity. So you engage in these weird behaviors, especially amongst your peers, to try to figure out yourself and things. And it's because we're not being directed.
We're not grounded.
Yeah.
When we have grounding, and that's what I realized from my kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my mom, you didn't know at the time,
Yeah.
right? And I don't fault you for that.
Yeah.
But what you did know, you prayed for it. You know, there's things you did do. But I know for my kids, if I can ground them in the truth now, they don't have to like be
That
insecure
angst.
about those things. They don't need that. They don't
Yeah.
have to be in angst
Anxious.
or in angst or
Yeah.
anxious,
Yeah.
right? To, oh, should I do this? No,
Yeah.
they know like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And they're secure in it,
Yep.
you know, because it means nothing to them.
Right.
Because every day I'm like, why would you do that? What does that mean? Where's that come from?
Right.
I challenge them every day because you got to know everything you do should be founded in the truth. Everything you do should be grounded in love, right? Or else don't do it.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to.
Right.
That's more important, you know?
Yeah.
And when you have that, you have stability. You have security.
Grounding.
You have a place to stand,
Yeah.
you know, standing on the rock.
You have a safe or true safe place.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, man. That was a good little video over there to wrap it up with. I was going to go into the Iran-Antarctica thing. Have you heard about that?
No.
Dude, it's crazy. We don't really have time to get into it. I'll just mention it real quick because it is in the title. So Iran has claimed ownership of Antarctica. Yes, which totally goes against the Antarctic Treaty, which is, we know from research and talking about things in the past, this is the longest standing treaty in the world that all of these global powers have agreed upon for some reason. One of the most mysterious treaties that exists to mankind, and Antarctica is this mysterious place. But Iran last week came out and said that they are going to start setting up military bases there, and that they basically are taking claim of Antarctica. It's a crazy story.
That is crazy.
So, you guys can do some research on that. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But in the meantime, appreciate everybody for watching, man. Even though Facebook stalled us out in the middle of the stream, a lot of you guys moved over to YouTube, which I appreciate. And shout out to everybody who's watching on Rumble and Twitter and Twitch still. Make sure you guys like the video, share this conversation. You can tell from the things that we were talking about. There's a lot of stuff here, man. We talked about some good stuff tonight. It was a good stream. If you want to support this type of conversation, support these topics, make sure you go to our Patreon and become a member. The support actually means a lot to us, and it helps us keep doing this because, we're trying to grow this channel. We're trying to grow the pride of the Young Lions. We're trying to grow the whole community. Those that are a part of this community, they truly get benefit from it. So if it's something that you want to be a part of, go to the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. And there's other tiers too. You can become a Young Lion and sign up over there. And, eventually we're going to have access to exclusive content over there, exclusive merch, exclusive music, all that stuff over there at the Patreon. that we don't have on our social media platforms and YouTube and such. Other than that, if you want to get merch, go on over to the link in the description, get some of the merch over there, rep the Young Lions around your neighborhood. And also, your last chance pretty much until next week is our show at the City Winery in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in the area and you want to come see us live, it's going to be a great show. Get your tickets to the City Winery.
Yeah.
It's on Leap Day. It's next week, next Thursday, on Leap Day, Thursday night. A bunch of people coming out. A lot of the Young Lions will be there. And a bunch of our soccer people will be there. A lot of people coming out. It's going to be a great show. Great energy in the room. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys there. In the meantime, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube. And we love you guys, man. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich.